You know what's fascinating about highly intelligent people? We often imagine a genius as someone who's obviously brilliant, constantly talking, and loudly showing off their knowledge in the middle of a crowded room. We naturally picture the eccentric scientist or the tech billionaire commanding the stage. But modern psychology research suggests something completely different. True intelligence isn't always about what you know, it's about how your brain logically processes the world around you. And that complex, high level processing usually reveals itself through some very subtle, everyday behaviors that most of us completely overlook. In fact, cognitive psychologists argue that highly intelligent people often fly under the radar. Here are 9 surprisingly common habits of highly intelligent people, and let's see how many of these you do. The first habit is spending a lot of time alone. Highly intelligent people are incredibly comfortable with solitude. It's not necessarily because they dislike others or lack social skills, but because their brains are constantly processing a massive amount of ideas. Solitude gives the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for planning, reflection, and complex problem solving, the quiet space it needs to function efficiently. In fact, a fascinating study from the London School of Economics showed that people with very high IQs actually report feeling less satisfied with life when they have highly frequent social interactions. Their brains simply crave the downtime to recharge and think deeply. The second habit is a constant, almost relentless curiosity. High IQ individuals question absolutely everything. They aren't just pondering massive philosophical ideas, they get hung up on small, everyday patterns. They want to know why a certain marketing trick works, how a specific system operates, or why people act the way they do in grocery store lines. Their brain is always searching for the whys behind the what, making curiosity a continuous mental drive. For them, the world is a giant puzzle, and they are constantly trying to put the pieces together. The third habit is talking to themselves out loud. Psychologists call this self-directed speech. If you catch someone quietly narrating their actions while working, you might think it looks a little strange, but science says otherwise. Speaking your thoughts out loud actually improves focus, helps organize scattered thoughts, and significantly strengthens working memory. By vocalizing a problem, the brain tackles it from multiple angles. What looks like strange behavior to the outside world is actually just highly structured thinking in action. The fourth habit is being completely comfortable saying, "I don't know." This connects directly to a psychological phenomenon called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Less knowledgeable people tend to heavily overestimate their own competence and what they know. On the flip side, highly intelligent individuals recognize the sheer complexity of the world and are acutely aware of their own limits. They know that every topic has layers of depth they haven't explored yet. Admitting ignorance isn't a sign of weakness for them, it's the required first step to actually learning something new. The fifth habit is overthinking the small things. An analytical brain rarely has an off switch. It constantly explores possibilities, potential scenarios, and future outcomes. If you ask a highly intelligent person to make a seemingly simple choice, they might freeze, running through a mental checklist of logistics and previous experiences. What appears like simple indecision or anxiety on the outside is often deep, rapid-fire cognitive processing on the inside. They aren't stuck. They are just calculating the optimal choice. The sixth habit is a strong, highly nuanced sense of humor. Humor is actually incredibly complex. To understand and create a great joke, the brain has to quickly recognize patterns, break expectations, and connect two completely unrelated ideas in a split second. Studies published in intelligence research journals show a very clear, measurable link between higher intelligence and advanced humor processing, especially sarcasm, irony, and dark humor. If someone is quick with a clever, unexpected comeback, there's a good chance their cognitive processing speed is extremely high. The seventh habit is changing their mind when presented with new evidence. Highly intelligent people treat their beliefs as flexible mental models, not as fixed parts of their identity. When new, verified data appears that contradicts their current worldview, they update their thinking. In psychology, this is called cognitive flexibility, and it is a key marker of advanced problem solving. They don't let ego get in the way of the truth. If they are wrong, they pivot, adapt, and move forward. The eighth habit is observing much more than speaking. Walk into a room, and the smartest person is rarely the loudest. Instead of reacting instantly to get their voice heard, they sit back and analyze the social dynamics first. They quietly read behavioral patterns, micro expressions, and emotional cues before formulating a response. They listen to understand, not just to reply. This intense observational skill allows them to navigate complex social situations highly effectively. And finally, the ninth habit is a constant search for deeper meaning. High intelligence often brings a much deeper awareness of life, people, and the systems that govern our society. This naturally leads to ongoing, profound reflection about human purpose and identity. They don't just want to exist, they want to understand the overarching meaning behind why things happen the way they do. So the next time you see these behaviors in yourself or someone else, don't misjudge them. What looks quiet, uncertain, or a little unusual on the surface might just be the quiet hum of a brilliant mind processing the world at a much deeper level. So how many of these habits do you have? Let me know, and don't forget to subscribe.